Sometimes when I'm really tired and we work all day, like 11, 12 hours, and then go practice till like 3 in the morning, I always like use thinking about my son for like, you know, extra like motivation. I'm basically obsessed with trying to make it by the time I would say, you know, he's 10 years old. You know, a lot of times I'm really exhausted and I barely have any energy, but you know, I start thinking about like, you know, how little time I have and how much I gotta push to do it, and I get like extra energy. I wasn't sure if the band was gonna go on anymore. We didn't have a bass player, and Jay Silva was on, you know, was off working. That band's like my baby, and like, you know, I couldn't just like replace them, both those guys with other people. You know, I'm becoming older now, you know, and I can't wait forever.
Jon and I were always set that it's not over ever. Like, it was never like, I don't know, it was never a thing. It was like, if, you know, if Tony has to leave or whatever, then we're gonna keep going. Jay
came back from, I think he was in Las Vegas or something this time. Came back to visit one night, asked me to come jam out with him. Just weirdly, Tim like asked if he could sit in, and for some reason I never thought of him ever. You know, in all my thoughts of like trying to find somebody to play bass, like I never thought of him ever playing bass.
Tim was like the guy that were like, Tim, like, we need a bass player. So he's like, you know, racking his brain of like bass players. I like remember like all these conversations of him like, you know, suggesting people.
And it just happened that I ended up on bass while Johnny was there and Jay was on drums. And, you know, eventually it was just the three of us, and Johnny was like, hey, let's play, I forget what song it was. A couple of VHS songs though.
It felt right, like right away. It felt like the band again, but new.
I'd seen the whole development of the band happen, you know, as a friend and as a fan. You know, I loved going to see him, and being there as it was all happening, I kind of already knew the vibe of the band, and so I think it ended up being an easy fit or something.
I think we should change the set list a little bit.
Okay, what are you thinking?
I gotta look at it.
Yeah.
I didn't want to have a huge comeback show or anything yet. It was one day before a year. It was like 364 days since our last VHS show. So I thought it'd be kind of cool and funny if people were like walking around and then like hear it and go like, is that straight to VHS? Are they still playing? Like, that's kind of what I wanted to do, just to kind of like get people like talking about it again.
Honestly, we didn't care if anybody showed up that day. Like, it was just like, we just had to play. Like, it didn't matter, you know what I mean? We really didn't give a shit if there was nobody there. We were just ready to go. And then the fact that there were people there and we were like feeding off each other, and we were like, oh my God, this is incredible.
Christmas, but better.
Ultimately, this album means the completion of a most gigantic part of my life.
See them, they are here.
I feel like the time frame from when I joined the band and we came on our first EP and then went to record this album was kind of like a storyline in my mind, and it's unfinished. That story, that part that I started and I worked so hard for, like never got finished and completed.
We did it!
When we recorded it, I think it's like over 2 years now, or around 2 years now that we recorded it. You know, it was like the high point of my band, and I thought that I kind of, in a daydreaming way, thought when it came out that it would be like the next step right before, you know, going on tour and start to like really try to make it, and everything kind of got halted.
Because we went through the break and we had to figure out what was going to happen next, like it makes things even more like, you know, powerful for us to like keep going with it and like keep writing songs and like staying close, all of us, you know, with Tony.
Well, I know they put a lot of work into it, you know, they put their heart and soul into it, and you know, obviously it's for Tony, it's going to be a cool thing because it's something that's still going to, you know, even though he's not in the band, he's still like has work that's going to get, you know, noticed and appreciated, because he obviously put a lot of good work into it.
I guess it's bittersweet. You know, I miss it. You know, I mean, I miss the practices, and I miss having that brotherhood, you know, being in a band that close is like a family.
I think it's cool now because I could actually be friends with him without all this extra, extra stuff.
Oh, that's the final song order? Nice.
You know, I'm clean and sober from drugs, and it's going really well, actually. And I'm way more productive musically than I ever was with the stuff.
I should listen to it because the transitions are cool.
When you ask, will you come back? I will say I surely will.
I had this brain full of mess that it wasn't going anywhere. And I didn't realize that it wouldn't go anywhere until I picked up a guitar and I started writing again. So I guess that's like the sweet part of it, you know, of not being in VHS anymore, is that I can watch those guys excel and I can be happy for them.